fifth sprint of the season, and Fialkova of Slovakia is away. Didn't race in Oberhof, and now hoping to do something a little better than she's done in the past. Now, her standing shoot has been the problem. In every sprint race this season, she's hit all 5 in the prone. She has not cleared the 5 stand, so that's essential. Ilchenko from Minsk. Those following the return of Daria Domracheva. She starts number 32.
Ilchenko, the problem is her stand shooting. Well, she's actually at World Cup only fired 15 standing shots, and she's only hit 4 of them. So statistically, 26% hit rate. That can change. It was windy up in Oberhof, and hopefully she can put it together. Certainly a good background in biathlon. Aita Gisparin, girl from Pontresina, living and brought up at altitude, 1,600 meters there.
Yeah, and just looking over her stats, she should be with the pace at halfway. 91% hit in the prone, 67% hit in the stand. If it's going to go wrong, it's going to be on the second shoot for her. But she's had a couple of good races this year. She's been a reliable relay team member. This is Emma Lunde. Again, struggles with the shooting, but it's the prone where she's had problems this year. Personal best of 30 in the World Cups. Well, I think she'd be delighted with 30 or better today. It would give her a good start in the pursuit and, of course, win her some World Cup points.
And Lunde, her stats, her hit rate in the standing is excellent. Very few biathletes can achieve 93% hit rate. Her stand is excellent. Her prone is 56%. So normally, it's the other way around. Lynn Persson from Östersund. Must have been lovely for her racing at home and during the first World Cup. Getting her own home and bed makes a big difference. You feel more settled. And, well, she's certainly shown some good performances this season. Single mixed relay, they were 4th up in Östersund.
Now, nervous moments for Julia Simon of France. Her first World Cup at the age of 20.
And isn't it great? She's been brought into this race today because she won the 7.5 kilometer sprint in Martel, the IBU Cup. Good recent form.
Well, that's going to be a really good measure. You know, obviously she might not shoot as well today as she did in that race, but ski speed might. We'll get to see where she compares with the best. Now, Miriam Gössner, shouldn't take her too long to catch Julia Simon if she's on form. But as we mentioned before the race started, it's a career that is virtually void of perfect shooting results. Can she do it today?
Listen to the crowd. They absolutely love her. They know her journey. The back injury, what, 3 years ago. She's lost some of that amazing ski speed she used to have. And I would really love for her to get a top 5 today.
3 wins in her career only, Mike. If you'd asked me, I would have probably said 4 or 5, but she's only had 3, but one of them was here in the sprint event in 2013. And she shot 0-1 on that occasion. Of the last 5 winners of this event, she's the only one that has won it missing a target.
Yes, this range, and today it's quite easy conditions. I thought we'd get 20 men yesterday shooting the perfect score. We only had 14.
36th in the World Cup rankings for Gössner. She was 23rd last year. She's never really threatened to finish in the top 5 of the World Cup standings, which is slightly surprising. But the shooting has been a problem.
I do wonder the factor that the heavy snow which we saw earlier has now backed off. It's like sleety, almost rain right now. And you need a good runoff, a good structure on the base of the skis today. And that's what Gössner does all the time. She puts in a hard day's work in every single race. Good technique as well. The girl from Garmisch. I did wonder when she would rest. Often it's good to just get your elbows just above the knees and take your weight through your elbows. It rests the main leg muscle groups. She only did that for about 2 or 3 seconds, then back into work again. Good pace. I think that we'll see Gössner setting the fastest time at 1.1 kilometer.
Well, I think we're going to see full-on effort from Miriam Gusner. She looks strong, Mike. She's not quite as dynamic as she was in her prime in terms of ski form, but even with her ski speed, she has to learn to control it to give herself a chance of hitting the targets. Do you think it's that she's not disciplined enough? I know in the men's side we've seen athletes who, Frodo Anderson I think is the best example. He was always keener on getting the faster ski time than actually getting the best result. Do you think that's Gusner's problem, or do you think it's just a lack of confidence with the rifle?
I think it's a mix, a blend of all of those, but I think it's mindset. When you're this aggressive skiing, some personality types find it difficult to switch off and slow down in the shooting. It's completely different. As Olympic shooters, summer Olympic shooters will tell you, it's all about being calm, and I think she just finds it difficult to find what calm is. I thought she'd set the fastest time. Well, she's 0.1 of a second off the fastest time to 1 kilometre, 1.1. Yes, in training, Patrick, Gusner's a very good shot. The coaches say she's one of the best. She'll group beautifully, she'll hit 10 out of 10, and then you put it in the race situation and she just flusters.
Alina Rykova, starting number 14, just ahead of Claire Egan and Lisa Vitozzi from USA and Italy, respectively. And Rykova, she's only done 2 sprints this year, but she's been perfect on the range on both occasions. Comes from Shushinsk in Kazakhstan. I have to say I don't know where that is, but I might check it out later.
Sounds good. Well, Hilda Fenn, she was setting a very good pace in the relay 2 days ago, and then she fell with just 800 metres to go, and she lost 15 seconds after that fall. I just wondered if she's got her ski speed today. It's good.
And how much did Norway lose the relay by? 14.5. It was that close. It was certainly going to have been a talking point in the Norwegian team that evening as we watch Fjalkva on the range. First to arrive. Now, if you're wondering whether the snow or even rain, should it turn to rain, affects the bullets, the answer is no. Might affect the sights, though, because of the intensity of the light.
Yeah, and one race in 30 years has been cancelled due to heavy snow because you couldn't see down the range.
And that race, of course, out in Nagano at the Olympic Games, the men's sprint.
And wasn't that where Bjorn Dahlen showed his credentials? He would have won the race that day. They stopped it just after his stand shoot, so he raced most of the race. The next day they ran it again, and he won it by over a minute.
Rosanna Crawford, another of the Canadians that's based at the 1988 Olympic venue, Canmore. Beautiful facilities, always being updated. Now, talk about Olympic credentials. Anastasia Kuzmina has some. She won the sprint in Vancouver in 2010. She won the sprint in Sochi in 2014. Only got 7 wins in her career. We haven't seen anything like the best from her so far. And Anton Shapulin's sister is out on the tracks. May see a double from the Shapulins today.
Wouldn't that be something special? And what a track record. There's Norbert. He's back with his brandy bottle probably, or his little waist belt with brandy in it.
Yeah, a lot of our viewers sending emails saying, where is Norbert? Now you've seen him. There is evidence that he's still around, still supporting biathlon. And does he still get funded to turn up to every World Cup?
He gives a lot of that money to charity, but he is assisted. He doesn't overtake from it. He's a former plumber, that's all, but always loved biathlon from the industrial part of Germany up near Dortmund. And he just has a passion for biathlon, follows every race on site.
Person who is based at Östersund, like most of the Swedish biathletes, our first venue for the World Cup this year.
See the weight at the very end of a barrel. It's a semicircle so that you can see through your sights.
I always think the glove manufacturers get the best deal in terms of sponsorship with biathletes.
Hey, the shooting's been good so far. What about Fjalkova? We saw how fast she was setting the time. She's bib number 1. I wonder if she could win like Kukalova did wearing bib number 1 last Saturday.
Now, you're fairly good at predicting what the shooting result is going to be. We've got one Miriam Gusner on the range at the moment.
Okay.
And
let's say 1. I would love to say 0, but she might miss 1. Beautiful. Central. Little low.
3 out of 3. Can she finish it off?
Yep.
It's not a good group, but it doesn't matter as long as they all go down. And Gusner gets to the halfway stage unscathed. Well, that's good. It's going to be the leading time, I think, 7:44. She should be a couple of seconds inside that. The tracks are not particularly quick because of all the snow. 2.2 the margin, not as big as it would have been 4 or 5 years ago. But Gusner, the most important thing is that she is clear at the moment. Are we going to see her 3rd clear shoot in her World Cup career?
Well, what I thought was so impressive with that shoot, she had none of the old restlessness that we used to see. She was calm, she took her time, she got her breathing under control. She absolutely mastered it. I hope she can do that again in the standing. Hilde Fenn, she shot well in the relay 2 days ago, but a terrible start. So far, from 7 having gone through, 5 out of the 7 have hit 5 out of 5. Frustrating for Hilde.
Yeah, she was much better than that in the relay. So she'll be a little annoyed.
And 2 gold medals at the Junior World Championships, but both in the relay. She played a very strong part in both of those relays.
Podjefarova starting at the back of group number 1. 33rd in the World Cup standings at the moment. Very good in the pro, and she's got a 93% hit record this year. And the 24-year-old from Moscow, if she can push her standing stats up to around 90, is going to be a regular contender for top 5 finishes. 1 win in her career. Can she make it 2 today? Really, if she's going to win, she's relying on others making mistakes. There's an interesting warm-up. I like that little nifty footwork.
Hey, that's reactions. You need reactions to shoot well.
Yeah, but it's all about tempo on the skis as well, as we watch Glazarina settle for shoot number 1. Another athlete who's made a World Cup podium. Oof.
Well, she doesn't often miss in the pro, and I think she's, what, 90% hit rates this season.
That will take it down a percentage point or 2. Tatiana Akimova, one of the revelations of this season, 45th in the world rankings last year. She's lying 8th in the rankings this year. She's done every single race this season, relays the lot, and being in the top 10, I think just reward for that effort alone. Another very good shot in the prone, 75% hit rate in the stand. She's got to win this season, and there's no saying she won't win again here today. Is she quick enough to beat Dalmar if Dalmar goes clear?
Well, do you know, I was just looking at her time earlier in the relay, and Akimova is in good form. She's, I think, I'm right, 13.7 seconds slower than Dalmar. In the relay, that was.
Well, I think Makarainen has a Finnish headband for every pair of socks you've ever owned. She has drawers full of them. And on goes a spanking clean one for today's race. Makarainen, amongst other athletes, deciding that Group 1 is not the place to be. She starts 43. The World Cup leader, Gabi Kukalova, goes number 64. So this is one sprint race that is going to keep us entertained pretty much through to the end, Mike, and we go down to number 97 before we run out of people who could possibly win, because we've got an Ace Pescant of France starting 97.
Oh, it's going to be good to the end. Emonier is not even able to get the fastest time to this point, and she set the 5th fastest ski time in the relay, and I think that shows how fast Fialkova and Gusner are setting the early paces.
Yeah, as we watch Vitosi, Emonier comes from Les Fours, which is near Pontarlier, which is a town that's produced so many biathletes and cross-country skiers from France. And again, Mike, it comes back. If you've got the facilities, you have a chance of producing some world-class athletes.
Oh, without a doubt, I should say. And you know, most of the nations here, all of the nations here have got snow for more than, I was just looking at this last night, for more than 3 months where they can cross-country ski in their home nation, and that's something that Britain doesn't have. And Amanda Lightfoot coming up later, 71.
Bertozzi leading the way. Daria Domracheva about to start. I mentioned that. I was hoping you were going to take up where we should go with British biathlon now that it seems to be at the end of the road in terms of survival. If it's going to be reborn, is the priority to build new facilities, or is it just to start clubs?
It's to start youth clubs, without a doubt. If you're going to create, and the kids love it, love doing this on roller skiing with laser rifles or air rifles, and it could be started in any town or village anywhere in Britain.
Kuzmina, 4 out of 5, and I think it's fair to say that rules her out of a win. 4 of the 5 sprints this season, in fact, all 4 sprints that have been held, this is the 5th one, all 4 sprints have been won with the perfect shooting score. And without any significant wind, I think it's probably accurate to say or predict that it's going to be the same story today.
And we were talking about our snow countries. Well, Domracheva set off, and you know, Patrick, I know she was 39th last week. I believe she can make a top 10. I also believe she could make a top 5 today. She's improving, I think, at that kind of trajectory.
But we saw in Oberhof, Mike, she was good for 2.5, 3K. Can you turn that into good for 7.5 in the space of a week, or do you think you're not going to give her another a fortnight before she's got the stamina?
But you know, a couple of races, often all you need is a couple of race days, a refresher. The body, if it's gone through the proper hard training, backing off with the big hours, and then just the races will bring her up. Yeah, I think I'll stay with a top 10.
Rusanova trying to clear all 5. She's missed number 4. We threw open. We've been talking about the all-time greats for relay teams. Yesterday we mentioned the men, and I think the first 3 with Poiret, Fourcade, Bjorndalen, pretty obvious. We've got a suggestion from Peter saying, what about Frankel, Rico Gross, Mark Kirchner? Would they get into your team?
Probably as far back as Ulrich, but he was racing when it was, he's won 16 races, but he was only ever classic skiing. He never skated, but he was a very good biathlete, I agree. Mark Kirchner was a little edgy. He's on the scope today, helping today, but he was a bit edgy in the relays.
Now, big moment for Miriam Gustner. The first 5 have gone down. How far will she get before she misses? Well, there's your answer. It's now a question of how many are going to miss.
What a pity. She appears to be calm, Patrick. You know, I thought she was going through all the processes which bring success.
Oh, snatched at that last one. That was never going to hit. In fact, only just hit the target.
Oh, that's
so 3 misses for Miriam Gustner, and again she fails to provide the results that we know she can do. It won't be a win, and I don't think she's even going to get into the top 10, so her chances for tomorrow pretty slim. Celia Monnier.
She had 20 seconds ahead of Fialkova coming into the range.
A little bit of an increase in the wind, blowing from left to right.
Now, a lot of the French team, look at the circular high part on the end of the barrel, so the foresight as it is, but the post supporting it, that's been increased by 15 mil. You have to increase the cheek piece, the rear sight by the same margin.
Every shot going further and further left, Mike. Oh, just scrapes inside.
Yes, that's
so
the arcing.
she gets away with it.
And often if you line up on the middle target, so that's the middle of obviously the 5, but if you just line up on the far right, the arcing is a tiny bit more exaggerated. It's very marginal.
Only 5 seconds off the leaders though. Fast shoot from Podyavarova of Russia. 7:42, the fastest time at the moment. Shooting quite a long way down the range, so I'm not sure she's going to get inside Vitosi's time. Gustner, we can forget about. She's missed 3 in the stand, 450 metres skied, and she's yet to come off the penalty loop as far as we can see. Maybe she's decided not even to go onto it.
Well, that's interesting.
Kaisa Mäkäräinen.
One thing I think we can say with some certainty, Patrick, that she will set the fastest time, Mäkäräinen. It's now about hitting 10 targets and she'll win. Gustner, 5th position, 24 seconds behind.
Wow, this is a quick shoot. This is Dorothy Vera style from Sharbatova, and she's paid the price. A bad miss on the right-hand side. You saw how the split, the ricochet of the bullet actually hit the target, but there was not enough force to put it down. Had that gone down, there might have been 1 or 2 coaches complaining. Akimova now, can she get her 2nd win of the season? She's well inside that fastest time set by Vitosi.
This is good biathlon, without a doubt. She's really, as I said there, that she was 4th fastest ski time in a relay. And you know what? Domracheva is only 1 second slower than Akimova on the track.
Now, Mäkäräinen, tipped by Mr. Dixon to produce the fastest time. And therefore, if she goes clear, tipped to win. It's nice shooting from Glazarina. Shame about that 1 miss in the prone. She should still have the fastest time. Simon leading. Don't forget Simon on her 1st ever World Cup. Just to let you know, she's hit 9 out of 10. She's produced a very respectable ski time. So maybe the IBU Cup, Mike, is getting closer in terms of standard to the World Cup.
Blimey, that's a great start. And she's only, what, 20-year-old Simon. More penalties for Hilde Fehn. That's a bad day at the office.
Look at that lead, 19.8 for Glazarina. Wow, that shows her form, but she's missed 1 target. Only Mitarai of Poland has hit all 10, and she's gone out in 3rd position.
Well, that's interesting. Sorry, Mitarai, remember the Polish put her 1st leg in the relay, and she hit only 2 out of 8 shots in the pro. Yeah,
turned it around today.
Guess
Here comes Daria.
Guess who's 2nd fastest into the range? 0.8 of a second off the lead time. I think she's back. Well, no, this is the difficult bit for her.
But don't forget, she produced the fastest time on the relay in the 1st lap, or was it the sprint last weekend in?
She set out. Yeah, she set out quite fast last weekend.
Again, showing a little rusty with the drills.
I think so. This is where she can lose it on the range. Recovery will be longer.
Vitosi, one of the fastest times after the 1st shoot. 8 out of 8 hits so far, 9 out of 9 for the Italian as we watch Domracheva clear up. So does Vitosi. Good shooting from the pair of them, but it's going to be Vitosi who I think takes the lead after the 2nd shoot. The time she's after, 16:06, and there she goes. Hildebrand, the defending champion in this event from last year. It was actually an event that was due to be held in Oberhof, but because it was won on these tracks, I think it's fair enough to say that she is the defending champion. And that's not a bad start. 7:32. Is she going to be close? It's not far out. It's inside, 0.4.
Well, do you know what? She's carrying all that positivity from, as you said, the win last year. She only won by 0.3 of a second.
Double Olympic champion Kuzmina. Expensive mistake early on. 15:46 is achievable though. Oh, long delay and then the miss. Well, I think she's shown that she is going to be a danger. If she can get that shooting under control, Mike, she's going to threaten. And we've now got what, 10, 15 women who are capable of winning.
An absolutely brilliant. Another one of the big names back again today as well, Patrick. Of course, Shemerenko's back for the 1st time this season. Bib number 86. So Kuzmina, Domracheva, and great to see Shemerenko as well.
Yulia Shima, starting number 50 of a field of 106. Now her form has been improving, but very gradually, and that's actually what I quite like to see in terms of the longevity of that form for the World Championships. A sudden spike can concern you, but it's just a gradual increase in performances as we watch Fanny Horn-Björklund, who of course won here 2 years ago. Oh!
She beat Domracheva that day, but she's not going to win today.
Now, what's going on there, Mike? 3 rounds.
Do you know, I think it's so soft. I know we see the range officials sweeping the snow. Sometimes your right elbow can slip out, or in this new snow, a big dip. And that indicates for me the top left missing. So she's got her elbow in a big hole in the snow.
What are Mazet's instructions going to be?
All he can do is tell Ulsbu, who's coming next, and Eckhoff that be aware of the flat mat, or tell them exactly where
bed yourself in, take an extra 3-4 seconds over preparation of the first shot.
Yeah, it's so tempting when you get down in the mat just to stay where you initially plant yourself, but if it's not comfortable or if you're in a dip, you have to level your elbow positions. Especially, it's not often we get new snow like this these days during the race.
Julia Simon in towards the finish, and that goes down as a great debut on the World Cup. Not only has she shot 90%, but she's produced a very respectable ski time as well. Bettered shortly after by, is that a teammate coming across the line? Or Miterai, it must have been Miterai of Poland who hit 10 out of 10. Celia Monnier. Nice position.
Look at her time. She's almost got a full minute on Vitozzi.
Talk us through the left support hand.
Yes, it's designed. You've got finger holds in the wooden stock. It makes stand shooting so much easier these days. And you're gripping it. You can see her pulling it into her shoulder, but it's not helping her. It's awful performance.
Yeah, that's a shame. Here comes Miriam Gustner. She gets a big cheer despite the fact that she's missed 3. She's fought harder today than we've seen her do so far this season, and still can't quite take the top spot. Franziska Preutz. Oh, rushed that. She rushed that, but some would say you've got to risk losing to win, and she's in that sort of bracket. Martin Fourcade doesn't have to risk losing. He can play around with his tactics. Dalmar, Kukalova, Makarainen perhaps can do the same.
Yeah.
But someone like Preutz, if she's going to win, she's got to shoot fast, ski fast, take the risks, and sometimes it will work.
Well, I was quite amazed there. If anybody was going to shoot clear today, I was going to say it would have been her. She's 95% hit rate, not so good in her standing. Well, the ski time is quite amazing from Makarainen. She's 18 seconds ahead of anybody. That's a penalty loop practically coming into the range.
Yeah, we saw her on fire in the relay, but we saw her ski very hard in the first loops in Oberhof and pay the price. We'll see. Oh, smack in the middle. Nice 10. Now that will worry the coaches a little. High right, low central. Dead middle, little bit left. It's all over the shot, but all 4 have gone down, and number 5 scrapes down. She survives.
Well, do you know what? That big birthday cake she was given on Wednesday, she obviously didn't eat too much of it. She's absolutely on fire. What a great start. She has performed so well here in the past, Makarainen.
How do you know? Maybe she had half of it, and that's the secret.
Maybe that is the secret. Turbo.
Yeah, plenty of Bavarian cream to get you round. Akimova, whoops. She would have had a good lead. She would have had a very good lead. 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10 for Akimova. She shot clear when she won in Novo Mesto. And her odds today, what were they, 60 to 1?
66 to 1.
66 to 1.
To win.
I know someone who will have been tempted.
That's the way to do it.
Good shooting from Hintz. Starting number 44. Just looking to see whether she's got any company out on the tracks. Well, I hope she's not getting ski splits from the lady who started before her, Kaisa Makarainen, because that would be a little bit disappointing. 20 seconds behind, despite the fact that she shot fast and clear. Best of the Germans after shoot number 1. We've got Hildebrand in 2nd place. Hintz now going into 4th. Gustner in 7th, but then she threw it away on the stand. And we have to go all the way down to 29 to find Francisca Preuss, who missed 2 on the prone. And Ace Chevalier.
I think it's fair to say the conditions, the ski conditions are without doubt faster now than they were for the early skiers. What was that, 9 o'clock?
That was 9:30.
That's left as well, a little, and very much left the third shot. Oh, edge.
I think that hat weighs about 5 kilos.
And stops, it stops a lot of wind like a bus, a London bus.
Now, Daria Domracheva.
Her drills are not slick. She left the rear snow cover down. Just a little race rusty.
We were talking about her being old school. Aren't so many left who shoot the central target first. Switches to the right now. 4 out of 5. Is it going to be her first clear shoot? No! 9 out of 10.
That was a top 3, I think, if she'd got that.
Wow. Well, she will come back. She will come back, and we'll see. What's going to be interesting to see how she skis over the last lap. Hildebrand for Germany. 8 out of 8. The defending champion. Ooh. She's gone clean. She's given herself the best possible chance of taking the win. But Akimova on 15:43 is certainly going down into second place. Germany are going to lead. And the crowd, the majority of the crowd here in Ruhpolding are going to love that. And she is going to get so much support over the next 2.5 kilometers. A 36-second margin to play with. Now, normally starting number 36, Mike, and leading as you go through the second shoot, you're pretty much odds on to win. But we have to remember, Kukalova started 64, Eckhoff started 70, the world champion. We've got Vera, who started 82, so it's far from over.
And don't forget Dalmar. She's looking sparky and strong once again. I was just thinking, Domracheva, if she had got into the ski slipstream of Hildebrand, it would have helped her on her final lap, but she's 35 seconds behind in second place. Kuzmina missing 2. Her ski speed's good. It's okay. She'd like it to be better. Of course, she had her second child. I think her oldest is 8-year-old and now a 1-year-old. And obviously lining up again for 3 Olympic gold medals in the sprint if she could win in Pyeongchang again. Ulsbu adjusted those sights massively.
Anchor leg for Norway in the relay, Ulsbu. She did a great job, but at this level of competition, somehow, Mike, she's got to persuade herself that missing 1 doesn't take her out of the running for the win. But with big names already going clear, Hildebrand, for instance, has gone clear. Domracheva's hit 9 out of 10. Akimova's hit 9 out of 10. What have we got? 4 or 5 so far through the second shoot who've got the perfect score?
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought there'd be more. That's 5 from 32.
Well, don't forget, we've still got lots of big names to come. Makarainen, Hildebrand, Akimova, Hintz, Domracheva are the top 5 after the first shoot. And here comes Laura Dahlmeier.
Just get a look at her time into the range. Well, I'm a little surprised. She's 10 seconds slower than Makarainen, but second place.
Always the same facial expression. Just watch the drills as she goes through. Loads.
Sorry, look how far her ski poles are onto the track. If an athlete shoots on the mat beside her, when they get out, difficult to get round those ski poles.
Assuming that was low right. Well, that was in the tent. And again. So 4 good shots. The first one a little bit wayward, but it's gone down. So Dalmar stays in the race, but McElroy's time of 7:15 too good. Hildebrand on 7:31 I think is going to be demoted into 3rd place. The margin 10.5 seconds. And Laura, Dalmar and McElroy and Kukalova might we need to track, of course. She's the World Cup leader at the moment. Starts number 64, so it's going to be another 5 minutes or so before Kukalova comes in. McElroy, big moment for her. Lying 3rd in the World Cup rankings this season. She's yet to win a race.
She's 31 seconds ahead of Hildebrand into range.
Incredible. 3 times she's been runner-up this year. 4 out of 5 might be enough. 5 out of 5. It's odds on. Here we go, the hard shot. Lovely shooting. McElroy looking fluent, relaxed, and nerveless, I think it's fair to say. That is fantastic.
Well, that's got to be her first win, surely. Even the great Hildebrand can't match, the great Dalmar can't match that.
Don't forget, Kukalova hasn't got to the range for the first time, Mike. We can't quite rule her out. She's had 3 wins in the last 4 races. Pogačarova goes into 6th. Vitozzi of Italy, still the leader in the finish. Akimova sets the new fast time here in Ruhpolding, 22:31 now the target time, and another good race from her. She's certainly someone you want to consider for success in Hogfilsørn. Franziska Hildebrand, 10 out of 10, 22:31 is going to be well beaten. She's into the home straight now. She's got Daria Domracheva just behind her, but don't forget Domracheva started 30 seconds in front. Domracheva with 1 miss. She's coming back. Slowly but surely. Hildebrand has always been there. 40 seconds the margin. Is that going to be good enough to win? I don't think so, because Mäkäräinen of Finland has gone through the range for the 2nd time and leads by a whopping 35 seconds. This could be the biggest winning margin in the sprint we've seen this year.
Incredible. Last it, normally 0.3 of a second, 3 seconds on this track, but it's a huge margin. Domracheva, 2nd place from 30 finishers.
Kukalova coming into the range, 8.9 down on Kaisa Mäkäräinen. So she has to go clear, no doubt about it.
You could hear a pin drop in the stadium.
Oh, beautiful shooting. Woof, a little bit lucky. Then again, most of them had 1 wayward shot. Normally it's the first or the last. With Kukalova, it was the shot number 4. Wry smile.
Vitek, yeah, he allowed himself a little bit of, well, this is going to be good, it's going to be tight, and Kukalova will be tested here. She needs to find some real skiing. she'll know, I would imagine she'll know that Makarainen has hit the perfect 10.
Yeah, does she need to know? I was just thinking, Mike, you know, we're always talking, oh, when you know you've got to hit all of them, the pressure is on. But actually, they start this race, as we have a look at Amanda Lightfoot, they start this race knowing that they've got to hit 10 to win.
Oh, very much so. And Fourcade saw that yesterday, that his two main opposition had missed 10. Well done, Amanda. Amanda skiing very well in front of Makarainen there.
She's always skied well. It's the shooting that's the problem. Her stats down in the 60s for both prone and stand. Surely that's where the work's got to be done.
It is, but when I have to say, remember 34th at the World Championships or 36th, when your boat is sinking, when this is your life and the governing body is standing down, she feels her sport is disappearing. So mentally it affects you in terms of performance and shooting. And I really hope she can hit the targets today.
Name me the best way of stopping that boat sinking, Mike. It's to produce the results and hit the targets.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. When you start putting yourself under incredible pressure to do that, you tend to get it wrong. Instead of being relaxed in a ship that's sailing steady, it really does. It really does. I know she's been very upset lately.
Okay, that's fine. I accept that. But give me your opinion here. Do we spend the money on the people on the World Cup at the moment, or do we say, okay, it's not going well enough, let's start again, let's spend the money on the juniors and try and bring someone up to a world level?
Well, that's right. The whole thing needs to be rebuilt. But no, I think Amanda has shown her 34th at World Champs, 36th there. She is absolutely worth investing in. And Scott as well, he's only 22, and the future is still bright for both these athletes.
Dorothy Vera starting for Italy, late start for her. She's in the same sort of position that Martin Fourcade was in yesterday. She will have seen Makarainen shoot clear. She will have seen Kokalova hit all 5 in the prone position. She knows Dalmar's producing a reasonable run, and she's seen Hildebrand finish. So the pressure on Vera is immense. We'll see how she rises to the occasion. Vishnevskaya for Kazakhstan. Actually, the time is not bad at all. 7:15 won't be matched, but she won't be too far outside. Top 5 would be good after the first shoot.
Well, Vishnevskaya, she showed in the relay that her ski pace is excellent. She's accurate.
World champion Tirolekov just settling for a prone as we watch Lara Dalmar. 14:32 the time she's after. Just hitches up that right lip. Look at that. That was solid. That was solid. She's missed 2 races already this year, but she's still a big contender for the overall World Cup. Here comes Makarainen into the finish. This is the performance that everyone else has got to match if they want to win. 20:51, phenomenal time. Beaten 3 years ago by Miriam Gustner when she won in 20:57. But bear in mind, we've had a lot of fresh snow. The downhills are not quick. Dalmar, 10 out of 10, 25 seconds behind. She's not going to make that back.
I'm so happy for Makarainen. She needed 10 out of 10 to guarantee a win. She could today maybe have missed 1. She's skiing that fast.
Now, Mike, we've got an email in from Wisconsin, USA. We'd better find out where the Americans are. Susan Dunkley, the #1 from the United States, started the season really well. Evidence that she's starting to slip a little bit. We'll try and track it down. Irv Berlin from Wisconsin. Glad you're enjoying the coverage this season. Glad that biathlon, it's got to Australia, it's got to the United States, it's all over.
At the moment, Reed has missed 2 after the second shoot, American, and 2:43 behind. That's 35th position. At the moment, the best.
Disappointing finish to the shooting from Selena Gasparin.
Claire Egan has missed 3 after the second shoot, and she's down in 42nd position, so not the best of days at the moment.
Yeah, Dunkley started number 79, and we're now looking at Phaneuf, who's the last of the Americans to get underway.
And she says she's delighted to be back in the World Cup team. Now, here's a question as the race goes quiet for a few seconds. Right, there are 4 athletes who speak, including their mother language, 5 languages. And there are 2 that speak 4 in this field today. Can you name any of the 5?
Well, I think that
4.
You can't go far wrong from going for the Swiss, who nearly always speak German and Italian and Romanish. So I'll go for a Selena Gasparin for number 1.
And what about her younger?
And Aita, so that's 2 of them.
That's 2 of them.
And, well, I tell you who else I'll go for is Sloth of the Netherlands, because I know she speaks English, I know she speaks Swedish, I know she speaks Dutch, and I don't know a single Dutch.
She'll speak German
I don't
as
know
well.
anyone from the Netherlands who doesn't speak German.
That's so true. Well, this is a good time, but that's only 3 languages. 7.6. Dorana Bear is really competitive with her day off in the relay.
Maren Hammerschmidt for Germany.
And I thought the race was going quiet. I think Hammerschmidt has a real chance for a medal today.
Are we looking at second, the best anyone can do with that margin that Mäkäräinen has? 20:51, Mäkäräinen's time.
Let's check where Dahlmeier, if she's pulling any of that 25-second deficit back. I don't think she can. Yes, 2 of the other athletes who speak 5 languages. Actually, Egan, the American, she speaks so many languages. And Razimishute, she also speaks the Lithuanian. She speaks 5 languages as well. And Breza speaks Russian. She speaks 4 languages. The 20-year-old French girl.
And Amanda Lightfoot.
Probably a bit of German, as well as her Geordie. South Shields.
Well, let's just update you. Some of the later starters are starting to make an impression. You will have picked up on Dorana Bear going through her first shoot as we see Kukalova looking to finish on the podium for her 5th successive race. 10 out of 10 would normally be enough. 14:32 the time she's after. She's going to be within 10 seconds, and that should put her into second place. Another great run. 3 wins out of 4 races. She's not been out of the top 2 for those 4 races. And no wonder that Vitek has got a smile on his face. This is great in terms of World Cup points. Chasing down Susan Dunkley now. So Kukalova, well, I thought Dunkley was coming straight out. She's not going to have the American for company.
What a great time that is. Now, good margin ahead of Dahlmeier.
And here is Dahlmeier. Dahlmeier second in the World Cup rankings, only 15 points behind Gabi Kukalova. If you take your 2 worst results away, which is what they have to do at the end of the season, then Dahlmeier effectively has the lead because she loses no points at all. And you have to remember, last year, Mike, she missed, what, 6-7 races, still managed to finish 6th in the overall.
Quite incredible. Jima thought she would go well today, but she could not miss any targets for a podium. 3rd at the moment is great, though, at start number 50.
Now, we've been talking quite a lot about marginal gains this season, both in the biathlon and the cross country. I was thinking where I would start if it was a team that I was involved with, and it would be diet. I think that's an area, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of research, but that's an area certainly where all the teams I've ever been involved with could improve.
I think it changes your mindset as well. I think you're right, it's a huge aspect. Most teams are quite serious about their diets, though. Dorothy, it's a decent time. I don't think it's a challenging time. She's 20 seconds off the pace when she came in to shoot.
Don't forget, we go to Antolz next week, and Vera would love to produce a good result there. But it's very much, if there's one resort where we see horses for courses, it is Antolz at 1,600 meters plus. It's a tough day out, particularly with an individual race there. 15.9 for Vera. That will do. If she can keep that margin, she'll challenge for a top 3.
It's quite handy having that shooting speed which she has. She took 5 seconds off Mäkäräinen just in the shooting part of the biathlon.
3 wins already this season for Laura Dahlmeier. It's not going to be number 4, but she could well be one of the 3 on the podium. She goes second, 30.1 the margin, and denies Hildebrand by a substantial margin, 30 seconds ahead of her teammate Hildebrand. So another good performance from Laura Dahlmeier. How many times has she been off the podium? 3. She's had 2 fourths and 1 seventh. Vishnevskaya, 14.48. hey, she would have been looking at challenging Dalmar's time as well. She certainly would have been inside Hildebrand, but the penalty loop puts pay to that.
Good skiing from Vivnishkaya. I think she picked up a number of medals at the Junior World Championships. Yes, 2 silvers, a bronze, showing her credentials young. Eckhoff. Now she has a chance of challenging certainly 3rd place. Don't think she can match Dahlmeier, even if she gets 5. Oh, she's struggling. She could have breathed one more time and rebuilt her precision.
Needs this to get herself a good start position for the pursuit. She's done that. Well done to Tira Eckhoff via Simarenko. Nice to see her back in the Ukrainian ski suit. It's been a long while. 7:25 on the clock. Actually, the pace is not bad at all. Well, as you can see, not a single seat spare in the stands as we watch Kukalova coming in. Now, this is close, Mike. She's 7 seconds up on Dalmar's finishing time at the moment. So I think she's going to have to keep the pace because Dalmar was very quick up over this last little rise. Work to do for Kukalova.
That's quite interesting because the snow came on quite heavy there. I know it's small margins, but that's what these races are won or lost by, and it might have lost effectively about 3 seconds, Kukalova compared to Dahlmeier.
And do you think the snowfalls had anything to do with it? It's I know it was snowing, but not quite as heavily as this at the start.
Plays little up. So Makarainen had a decent run. There was no snowfall during Makarainen's whole race, and then it just came on after she finished a little. Again, small margins.
Yeah, as we watch Duran Aber, Martin Fourcade asked in his press conference if he knew it was going to start snowing in the latter stages of the race. He said, yes, why do you think I skied so fast? He was desperate to get off the tracks before the snow started.
Duran Aber, she had a real chance there for a top 3, maybe still has. But she missed the middle shot.
Coming into the range for the second shoot, Duran Aber.
She was second, only 9 seconds behind.
One miss too many for Hammerschmidt.
She lives in Ruhpolding. She looks so, when she's racing, she's just so in the zone, so focused. And for our American fans who sent the email, Susan Dunkley set the 2nd fastest time into the range the 1st time. Yes, and then she did go around the penalty loop, but she's skiing fast.
Skiing very, very well. Another look at Amanda Lightfoot working her way around the penalty loop. 2 times she's made it into the World Cup points in her career. Unlikely to happen today with that penalty. Now, Kukalova with the yellow bib, still working hard with a couple of 100 meters to go. She knows that every second is vital. A pursuit tomorrow, a good finish here, sets you up, gives you that chance, and Kukalova will fancy her chances of outshooting Kaisa Makarainen tomorrow. She's got a much better record so far this year. So, the world #1 holds on to her lead in the standings, 22 seconds off. She picked up good pace and actually took a second or so off Dahlmeier in the last 800 meters. Good work from Kukalova.
That's great work to hit all the targets as well. I think her ski form is improving almost with each race that we see.
If you take all the top athletes on the tour, including Domracheva, and you put them all on their best form, do you still put Makarainen as the fastest?
I think I would. On most courses, hilly courses especially, like next week in Antrasilva. This is a hilly course as well, but an awful lot of flat. Well, can you believe we're still 7th on the finish sheet, and I think she'll still remain top 10. Domracheva is definitely there or thereabouts. She's coming back 7th at the moment.
Yeah, we'll try and, if we can, just get her split so we can see how her speed has compared lap to lap. This is Susan Dunkley. In previous seasons, the standing shoot has been a major problem. There's no doubt the work she did this summer has paid off.
18th position into the stand shoot, and she missed one target in the prone.
Still going to be a top 20, I think, for Susan Dunkley, and with 2 misses, that's not too bad at all. Justine Brezard, who has stunned us with the ski speed she's shown this year. She's a future champion, I feel, and with 9 out of 10, she still manages to get into the top 7, 1:31 behind. So actually a minute or so behind Makarainen's time. So Makarainen's coming up. Brezard maybe after a brilliant start to the season starting to fade a little, and that reaction would suggest that.
She gave everything in that race, absolutely everything. Still a 7th position. She's knocked Domracheva down by just 2 seconds ahead of her, but 1 position.
Now let's take the 25 seconds, or are we going to be more generous and say 26, 27 for the penalty loop? Take that off Duran Abert's time just to see where she would have been had she not missed a target. Needs to work her way past Takizaki of Japan, who's sort of causing a roadblock there. Back with Dorothy Vera. This is quick. I love the way she shoots. Fantastic. 5, quicker than anyone else so far today, and that might just have put her back in for a chance of taking a top. Well, I think 4th is more likely. Dalmeyer's going to be quicker by, what, 7, 8 seconds, Mike?
Well, I think so, and of course, Dorothy Vera will be effectively chasing Duran Abert's time.
Well, how about that? If you were to name 5 of the strongest athletes, they're all in the top 5.
They've floated to the top. Zingerle is delighted. He'll be wondering, where do we get this little bit of extra ski speed from for Dorothy Vera? 4th position, leaving the range. She's only got to pick up 9 seconds for 3rd place, but that's on Dalmeyer.
Back to the diet, maybe cut the plonk out of the lunchtime.
Can't take the wine off an Italian table at lunchtime.
120 behind for Vishneskaya. That's a really, really good result from the Kazakh. There's someone who will have been disappointed that Almaty didn't bid successfully for the Olympic Games in 2022. So Duran Abert still to finish. She started number 75. We've got Susan Dunkley on the tracks as well, who started 2 minutes behind her, number 79. And Anaïs Pascal started 97, Mike. Any news on her going through shoot number 1? I haven't seen her, to be honest.
Just checking. Well, maybe
actually, yeah, she may still be approaching the range. 106 starters today. Duran Abert at the last split is still 14 seconds off Dalmeyer, and she's 4 seconds clear of Hildebrand. So I think it's going to be 4th place when she comes across the finish line. So if you're coaching and you want to pick out a particular athlete who you think has the best technique, and I accept that for some builds, some physiques, you need to use a slightly different technique, but who would you say is the perfect technician on the women's tour?
There's 2 that stand out for me. Well, there's probably many more, but Brezard I really like. She's got that anchoring, that balance that we see like Foucault has. She doesn't move much on the skis. And Domracheva, I know that it's floating, but it's very efficient. When you break that into slow motion, she is so balanced from her dancing background.
And that balance is the key, isn't it? If you look at a race, you spend 80% of your time standing on one ski. If you can't stand on one foot, you're not going to be any good at this game.
So is efficiency. Are you economical in how you stand on one foot with your leg at an angle? And that's what it's all about, really. Compressing and then balancing, compressing through.
Power finish coming in from Duran Abert. Dalmeyer's time has gone 21.51 she needs to be inside. It's going to be fourth place at the moment. Hildebrand's going down to 5, and Öberg of Sweden, who we haven't mentioned, has actually had an outstanding day out there. She's still lying in 6th place, Öberg, 1:18 off the leaders, so she's going to be away behind at the start of the pursuit. But don't take that away from a huge haul of World Cup points going to the Swede.
So the last of the Germans, and you can hear how much it means to the spectators. Hammerschmidt coming in, and 5 targets separating her. She did miss one in the prone position, which is unexpected. Her pulse is still on 195 beats per minute. That's amazing.
I think it's about 40 years since mine was at that level.
Oh, and maybe the outcome indicating it was just a little too hard into the range.
Again, taking the risks. Now, Dorothy Vera, 53 seconds behind. That's good enough to go into 5th place and push Hildebrand down another slot. But if she can pick up 4 or 5 seconds over the last few hundred meters, Dorothy Vera could just move ahead of Durana Bear, and that would be important in terms of World Cup points. Dorothy Vera might started the season as one of the possibles for winning the overall World Cup. She's down in 5th, 123 points behind, and a whopping margin of 70 points between her and 4th place.
It's interesting, she hasn't quite had the ski speed this year, and even now when she's demanding the most effort from herself to pull back a few seconds, that the fight is there, but the body isn't kind of following, so she needs to find another 30 seconds.
Yeah, quite a few people asking whether Martin Fourcade and I guess after what we've seen today, Kaisa Mäkäräinen are on too good a form at the moment if they want to clean up at the World Championships.
It's an interesting one because it's a heavy workload. The 3 World Cups before Christmas, the 3 World Cups before the World Champs. I think we'll see Fourcade and Mäkäräinen missing some of the races to come. I think they have to if they want to guarantee the form they have now at the World Championships, which start, what, the 9th of February, first race. You can tell how tired Dorothy is. She's taking such a long glide. Normally you would start a little work into this corner to get the maximum pace out of the corner. So I don't think she's going to move ahead. In fact, she's just dropped behind Hildebrand.
Well, still, she's got time to make it up, but the fact that she's being...
In fact, yeah, she's 2 seconds behind Hildebrand.
Who was that behind her? Was that Gregorian? Well, was behind, now ahead. I think it is Gregorian. Who's skiing really well into the finish. Vera needs to get into the slipstream there.
And that's an indication of your form, isn't it? When you die towards the last kilometre of your race, you're just not quite there in terms of race overall fitness.
Well, as we watch Dorothy Vera come in, just to let you know, the World Championships start on the 9th of February in Hochfilzen. I'm sure there are still tickets available if you fancy a trip down there. It's a really easy venue to get to. Fly to Munich, couple of hours in the car, and wonderful place. Can't guarantee there'll be much snow other than the World Championship tracks, but when the snow is good, it's as picturesque as any other venue on the circuit. Not far from Fieberbrunn, not far from Kitzbühel, to be honest.
It's a lovely venue. I must say that Vera, she was 2 seconds behind, and then she pulled 2 seconds back on Hildebrand's time at the end.
This could go top 6. Vera on 15:06. She's not quite going to match that, but it's another good shooting performance from Anaïs Bescon. France are certainly going to get someone else into the top 10. They only have Durana Bear there at the moment. It's Finland who lead with Mäkäräinen. Kukalova of the Czech Republic second, Dalmar of Germany third, Durana Bear of France fourth, Vera 5. No outsiders winning today, no outsiders getting anywhere near the podium.
All the big names. Bichon, this camera shot doesn't show it quite as much, but there's a lot of snow falling out. There we are.
Yeah. and that's got to be worth 4 or 5 seconds a lap. So 15 probably more throughout the race course. So unlucky for those who've started later. The meteorologists would have been busy last night trying to predict what was going to happen, Mike. Yesterday was a classic example. The snow started, what, 20 minutes before the end of the race?
Yes, it did. It's difficult to predict. Stewart has done well again. Her shooting is nice and anchored there, getting all 10. This is going to be a top 15, top 20 finish for her. Yeah,
we should try and track the performance of Lisa Theresa Hauser. I know she missed one target of the 10, and I suspect that's pushed her down outside the top 30. Hauser has looked good, looked very good before Christmas, but another of those athletes that I think is just starting to drop away.
I think you're right. I can't find her at the moment. Amanda Lightfoot's missed 3, just outside top 60. Yes, Hauser, 32 right now, 2:24, only missing one target. You're right, her form has dropped. Started very well.
Now, we've talked about the French relay team, the German relay team, the Czech relay team. We have to start considering the Italians because they're all starting to raise their game. Well, if you like a good sing-song, Ruhpolding's not a bad venue to come to. There's been a tremendous atmosphere all the way through the week. Okay, a lot of people take the week off, which is why Wednesday, Thursday was still a full house. But take nothing away from the organisers. They lay it on every year. Yes, it's traditional. Yes, the average age of the spectators is probably closer to 65 than 55. But what does that matter? It's a great spectacle, and we've seen some tremendous racing so far this week. And we've got 2 more to come. Now, the men's pursuit should be a formality. Fourcade, is he going to lead from start to finish, or do you think he'll make that one mistake he's made this year, which is to miss in the pro?
Yeah, and I don't know what, but I just think he's going to maybe miss 2 tomorrow, which is unlikely. He said he struggled with his last shot, and he said he was very lucky with his last shot yesterday. You know, the pressure shot, he knew he had to get it. So there's a little chink in his armour, I think, for tomorrow, but he's got a great margin ahead, as does Makarainen, and she's 22 seconds ahead.
Yeah, 4 seconds more than Martin Fourcade, but the very fact that Makarainen has Kukalova, Dalmar, Durana Bear, Vera, Hildebrand, of course, who won here last year, those women lined up behind her, she knows the pressure is still on.
Oh, very much. And you mentioned Öberg earlier, the Swede. She's still in 7th position. That's a wonderful performance for Sweden. And of course, Wolfgang Pickler, who's from this very town. Öberg's only 21-year-old from Östersund. And in fact, her best sprint this season before today was only 43rd in Novo Mesto.
Yeah, she had a good race in Östersund a couple of years back, or was it this? Actually, it was this season.
Yeah.
Time's travelling so fast.
Yeah.
It was this season, and that was in the individual race on a windy day. She showed that she's learnt how to shoot in the wind.
What have we got today? Was that a lion?
I think so.
Penguin.
The local mascot, as we watch as Lugana.
A lot of new Russian names coming in.
Now, there was a period, Mike, when the Russian women dominated the relay, generally from shooting brilliantly. We've seen no danger of that happening so far this year.
No, they don't have the ski speed anymore. They used to maybe miss the odd. Yes, they shot well, but they could afford to miss some and still win the relays. But as a team, they're almost each 55 to a minute off the pace.
Hammerschmidt outclassed by Dalmar and Hildebrand today. She's down in 35th position, just scraping into the World Cup points. 3 misses, proving very, very costly on home snow. And that's a real disappointment, because she knows that her chances of hitting the headlines at the end of tomorrow are pretty slim.
Very much. What about Domracheva? I think that's quite amazing. 39th last week, and she's shooting. She missed one today. She's only 6 seconds off the top 10 in 12th position. I think she's going to be delighted with that, and still easily with this race under her belt today, she'll be better tomorrow.
And take away the miss, she would have been top 6 or 7. So that shows you what she can do. Can we get the splits on her time, or is that not possible?
Yep.
We'll put the computer to work, see if we can just let you know. Davidova 2:05, and have to remember it only takes them about 2:40 to ski a kilometre, so you can see the sort of distances that they're going to be behind at the start of the pursuit tomorrow. Tandra Vold was the last to start for Norway, and she's chasing Anaïs Bescon, who started a full minute and a half behind her, so it's been a brilliant effort from Anaïs Bescon.
Okay, I've got some stats coming up, I hope. So lap 1, so this is course time. Domracheva was 17th fastest, 21 seconds behind. I'd imagine she'll drop off on the last lap. Certainly the second lap, she was 9th fastest, so she improved. And the third lap,
she was 13th.
She was 13th, so she's absolutely in the race.
So losing between 17 and 19 seconds per lap. A much better paced race than we saw in Oberhof, so I think the coaches will be happy with that. What about Anaïs Bescon? Can she make top 10? Wisniewska there on 22:12. She's just going to miss out on that. Guisdon at 22:18. It's Zima who's going to be pushed out of the top 10, and Anaïs Bescon goes number 9. So France finished the day with 3 in the top 10. Finland have only 1. The Czech Republic have only 1. Nice to see Slovenia in there with Grigorin, and Kazakhstan also in the top 10 today. So a nice mix of nationalities. Absentees from that elite group. No Norwegians. Tirolekov couldn't do anything.
No Russians.
Birkeland couldn't do anything.
No Russian. Akimova thought she might be up the top bracket today. The French, 4 in the top 12. What surprises me...
And Oiberg, of course, of Sweden is in there. I might have given you some duff stats there. I was looking at the lap times for lap number 2, which had suddenly replaced the finish times. So let's just recap on that. Finland, you do know about. Mäkäräinen winning. The Czech Republic, Mike Kukalova again flying the flag. It's time that Puskachikova and Vitkova started to step it up, I think.
Puskachikova 14th today. It's okay, she missed 1. That would have been a top 6 if she'd hit everything.
Stuic, good clear shoot.
And Guisdon from Poland, so pleased to see that for the 2nd week in a row, top 10.
And Stuic into the World Cup points. She's beaten Lisa Theresa Hauser, which hasn't happened very often this season. So that's a big boost for her. And actually, the coach probably quite happy that the number 2, number 3 in the team suddenly get a good performance.
I think that's healthy for a team, and it shows it's not just about one person in the team. It allows the success to be shared around. Well, the snow's quite deep now on this climb. It's quite a bit. It looks like nothing, this climb, but it's actually quite brutal.
Uslagina getting a little bit of experience. 28 years old. We saw a race in Oberhof. Actually didn't do a bad pursuit. She missed 4, but still made up 10 places in the pursuit there. Wearing bib number 100 is Vigepuu for Estonia. And Via Simarenko, she had her fans when she was racing full-time. Mike, we better try and track her just to see where she's finished. Kamila Zuk of Poland just making her way up the final climb. Simarenko down in 30th position, missing 2, and 2 minutes 11 off this lady, Kaisa Mäkäräinen, who has won today and won convincingly. Fastest on the first lap by a huge margin. She never slowed.
Well, do you know what? Turning 34 on Wednesday, it hasn't changed her at all. In fact, if anything, it's made her faster.
She looked really serious before the start today. We saw her putting on the white headband. It's obviously a new headband every race. That sort of seems to be the way to go. But she looked focused. She looked hungry, and that focus is so important in terms of the shooting.
Yeah, and she doesn't often get the 10 out of 10, Mäkirainen.
Only 2 missing targets in the top 10. It's a tough sport.
It's great shooting. I'll try and get a score on how many shot the perfect score.
Anna Magnusson, second Swede in the top 16, with Oiberg getting into 7th position today. Lisa Vitozzi, the 11th athlete to shoot 10 out of 10, 159 behind, work to do on the ski speed, but always nice to have a clean sheet at some stage in the season. Via Simarenko, they're in 30th.
Yes, 17 women have shot the perfect score, unlike, 13 men yesterday. Official again, women are better. It was windy yesterday for the men.
Well, snowy scenes here in Ruhpolding. There may be the odd avalanche over the next couple of days. There's been plenty of snow up in the mountains. We're not complaining. We need it. We need it. And I tell you what have they had? 1.5 feet over the last few days, and there's still no sign of pictures of snow in the papers. It's no big deal. They deal with it, and of course celebrating it, because the tourist board down here need a good dumping on regular occasions, and it means that all the tourist cross-country tracks have been cut over the last couple of days, and I suspect a fair percentage of the supporters, those who aren't inebriated already, will be out for a ski this afternoon.
Oh, I think so. They try to combine it. The celebrations are great, the atmosphere is great, but you need to get out and get some exercise, and so many of them do just that.
There's Lagina, 2:15.
Look at the destruction to this field that Mäkirainen has done. Well, 22 seconds to second place, 30 seconds to third place. We don't often see such big margins of a lead, or even in the top 3. And that puts 30th position down to 13 behind. Now, we've seen a 60th start position in the pursuit at only 2 minutes 18 for the women. So tomorrow, it's much greater than that. The top 60 finishing in 3:07.
Wow. Well, that makes it hard, but it's still going to be a fantastic race, because the biggest names in biathlon for the last couple of seasons are all in the top 6 finishers today. It's Kaisa Mäkirainen who stands out above the rest of them. Well, let's look at those who finished on the podium. Lara Dahl